Hey guys, Rick Lovell to talk about bass fishing today. Today specifically, I'm going to talk about the Swimbait. This little guy right here, that is one of the most popular baits on the market right now. I'm going to show you different ways that we set it up, especially the number one way that my sons catch bass on Swimbait. My boys are 9 and 13, and they love throwing the Swimbait. And I'm going to explain how it's set up for them, and then we can go from there. First of all, though, all the different ways you can set it up. The Swimbaits that I use are predominantly from one company. LakeChamplainLures.com makes an incredible swimbait. This is a 3.8 inch swimbait. They also have smaller ones that are the little 2.5 inchers, all the way up to these big 6-inch ones. Okay, and I have all of these. I've caught multiple 4 and 5 pound bass on this setup right here. You'll notice this is on a vibrating jig head. Some people call it a chatterbait. I get these particular heads from another website called liveandjensbaitbucket.com. I'll put a link in the description. Phil Darnell, he hooks me up with these. They have the nickel plated blade with a dark head. I also have some white ones that I use a little bit also. But I love throwing these, especially these big 6-inchers on this right here, and it creates a ton of action in the water. You can see this one here, I've dipped in some chartreuse. The water was a little stained when I was using this one. Last time out on Kentucky Lake, last 2 times out on Kentucky Lake, I've caught 3, 4, and 5 pound largemouth on this exact bait right here. It's an awesome bait to throw. There's other ways you can hook it up. There's all kinds of Swimbait heads. This one here has eyes on it. And I want you to notice, if you can look in there, you'll see the point of my bait. I've cut the part of the tip of the head of it off. That helps it slide up real nice and tight. And then sometimes you can tip it with a little bit of super glue, and it'll keep it held on there. Here's another one, a little smaller one that I've put on there. If they're on underspins, you can hook those up too. I'm just showing you different ways that I do this. Sometimes you can put just a regular ball head, especially if you're throwing like an Alabama rig or something like that. I'll go down to these 1/8 or 1/4 ounce ball heads for those. Weighted Swimbait hooks. They now have these out. This is a VMC. I don't remember what weight that is, 16 ounce maybe. And it has a little screw lock that puts it on there. And when the bass come up there and they chomp into it, they're getting pure hook. That's a great way also. Again, so many different ways. There's so many different kinds of heads that you can put these on. I also run them on regular chatterbaits. I'll put skirts on there. You can do that. Such a wide variety of things to do. But today I want to talk to you specifically about how myself and my boys fish these Swimbaits, and I want to focus on the 3.8 inch one that's from LakeChamplainLures.com. Lake Champlain also makes these bullet heads, and they can custom paint them. This color of Swimbait is called Smallmouth Magic. My favorite go-to Swimbait, and whether it's stained water or clear water, this one just seems to work. I don't know if you can tell, it's got some blue flake in it. It's a darker green on top, a little bit of silver, white on the bottom. Just looks like a great bait fish. And then you match that up with these bullet painted heads also that are the same color. And what we'll do here, sorry, I thought I had my scissors right here in front of me. So what I will do is I will take a portion of this head and cut it. I want a nice flat surface here because the back of this is flat. And I will just run that right down through there. Keep it nice and in the center. As soon as it starts bending, I'll pull it out right through the hook gap there. Push it up on there. You have a nice tight fit. This also has the blue flake in it. Comes through the water, lots of action. Took my boys out this past weekend on this setup. My 13-year-old, I'm going to show you exactly what he was throwing. Denali Rods makes great rods for this. I like, this is a Denali Lithium series. This is a 7'4" medium heavy action. Make sure that when you're throwing swim baits, keep in mind they have these great big hooks, these single hooks. Like a lightweight rod, you're going to miss some bites. But if you use a nice, stiff, heavy action, this is a medium heavy action. It's technically a worm and jig rod. Again, 7 foot 4 inches. I'm throwing this on a Lews 6.8. Sometimes on these, I like to use a lot of the 7 ratio reels. I'll go down into the 6s, maybe even I've got one that's a 5.4 that it helps you slow down a little bit. Swimbaits, most of the time, I like to think of them when I'm presenting them to the fish. You want to present them in a way where they look like a gullible, dumb, easy meal that's just slowly meandering around, like he's kind of lost a little bit. Most of the time, that's when we're going to get bit. Now, sometimes if the bass are feeding fast and heavy, then I'll speed it up and I'll run them kind of fast. Most of the time, it's a nice, slow, steady retrieve. I'll even kind of pull it along the bottom, stir up a lot of mud with it. That's fine. But you see, Easton, my boy, was throwing this right here, and he has got a mess of something on there. I don't know what he put that hook in. Anyway, so right here, this is what we were throwing on. This is a Lews Super Duty G 6.8. Throwing this on 15-pound fluorocarbon line. 15 seems to work best for what we're doing. I always go fluorocarbon. It's nice and clear. Fish typically can't see it. But again, a nice heavy rod, a little bit slower retrieve, good 15-pound fluorocarbon, and you can get the job done on whichever one of these baits that I'm throwing. Even if I'm throwing, the big vibrating bladed jig, the heavy swim bait, even down to the smaller ones that I just showed you here, whichever one it is. But I wanted to give you an idea. Lake Champlain has such a variety. They've got these nice green pumpkin. They got a little bit of blue in them, a little bit of blue flake. Great color. If it's really dark water or even at night, they've got these black with the blue flakes. You get on their website and you're going to see they have dozens of different color schemes. But again, my favorite color is this smallmouth magic. Now, I will also use what's called the threadfin shad. It's more of a black and silver. I put the little dots on them just because all the shad, that gizzard shad, things like that, threadfin shad, all have that dot on there. I'll add that to it. But in the meantime, this is the style. These nice, big, fat, juicy swim baits. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Highly recommend them. When you go on there and you order from Lake Champlain, you can use a promo code, my last name and the number 10, Lovell 10, Lovall 10. If you'll put that in the promo code, you get 10% off of your order. And so I highly recommend that. Again, I use these. My boys use these. We all catch fish on them. And if you're not catching fish on them, please let me know, and I'll try to walk through what you're doing and see what may be wrong with it. If it's your presentation, I'd love to help you out with it, because I love to see people catch fish, love to help people catch fish, and this right here can help you get the job done. Thank you.